The Stage Door Show, celebrating the independent artist. With your host, Dave Hondel.
Hi everyone, welcome to The Stage Door Show. I'm Dave Hondel. Tonight, my guest is a true living legend. Not only did she have a #1 hit, Mickey, but she's an iconic choreographer and had a big role in revolutionizing street dance as we know it today. She's a producer, entrepreneur, and her stamp has been firmly set in entertainment immortality. So I can't wait to bring her in because there's so much to talk about. This is her third time on the show. So please welcome again, Toni Basil. Toni, thank you again for being with us tonight.
Hi, Dave. I'm so excited to talk to you again.
Yeah, we're so excited. We're honored to have you back. And I want to talk about this song Breakaway because I know you recorded it back in 1966. And for everybody listening, go on to, you can Google it. You can go on to official Toni Basil. But you got to hear this song. It's just amazing.
Streaming platforms now, and you can also go to my channel, my YouTube channel, Toni Basil's House, and scroll down and you can hear the song. But you can also we've done a little promo video for the song, not a video, just a little promo for it. I'll tell you about it in a minute. But yeah, this song, it's so interesting. I just recently acquired the rights to the master after all these years. And I wouldn't even know if somebody from Australia didn't call me and say, hey, Toni, we want to do a vinyl of Breakaway, and I'm 28, which was on the flip side of this 45. Actually, they were both written by Ed Cobb, who wrote Tainted Love.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. And he wrote it and Gloria Jones recorded it in 1964. Okay. So the time he was writing Tainted Love was the same time, kind of, like a year or so later, he wrote, I was going to say Mickey, Jesus, Breakaway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think I recorded those two songs in a minute. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
It was just, a couple of times through of both songs.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got a call.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jerry Casale told me to call you. That's from, Jerry's from Devo. I was trying to find you. We want to do a vinyl of Breakaway, and I'm 28. And we tried to find out who, we called A&M. A&M is no more owned by A&M. I think it's Universal. We called Universal and they said, well, we don't have the master and we don't have her contract. And the rights should have reverted back to her, the 203 copyright reversion.
Mm-hmm.
So she owns it. I said, what? And so we got further into it. We got everybody to quote that and put that in writing.
Yeah, for sure.
We found the publisher, because Ed Cobb had passed away by now. Found the publisher, and I did have a master of it. I just by luck, and it's up on all streaming platforms. How about that? How many years later?
I was going to say, so, I mean, 66, but you had the master, but now I know that with technology, I mean, the master, was that like a reel to reel or how?
No. It was something that had to be tweaked and fixed and
Oh, okay.
etc.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did see that a 45s are sometimes available. I don't know whether this will drive up the cost of if you own the 45 from back in the day or down, but there's like, collectors, and I think one collector wanted $3,000 for it.
Oh, wow.
And another it became a Northern Soul hit. A&M evidently, of course, never told me, they released that 45 in the northern part of the UK with another song and another artist on the flip side. They just did Breakaway and then another artist. They didn't do I'm 28. I actually have that 45.
Yeah.
I have a 45 with another person on the back. Out of nowhere, all of a sudden people send you things and did you see this? And oh my God. So yeah. How many years later is it now?
Yeah, we're looking 50, 58 years, 59 years, maybe. Something like that. Yeah, because I'm 56. I was born in 68. Okay. So that's about 58 years.
How bizarre.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. And when something like that, like A&M has the rights, I mean, for that long to the music, correct me if I'm wrong, but even though you recorded it, I mean, they can pretty much do what they wanted with it, correct? Without your permission?
Oh, well, back in the day, God only knows.
Yeah.
I mean, you lose track.
Yeah.
Obviously I did. I didn't know they released it with somebody else on the flip side. And it was before videos and Nancy Sinatra's boots. My God, she stomped over everybody. So there you go.
And that was around the same time. I mean, you said within a month.
Yeah.
Wow. That, and speak about that a little bit because, you've been in the business for so many years and when, now with the way people have access to streaming platforms and so forth. I mean, it's really changed the game, correct? I mean, you don't
Absolutely.
have to go to a label anymore. You can do everything in your house.
No, well, yeah. I mean, I re-recorded, Hey Mickey, and that's on all streaming platforms, and I see money from it that I never saw from my master, as you know. I mean,
right. That's, I mean, I think the game has really changed and I mean, for the better. And I think, and I know with that comes more, competition because, millions of other people have the same ability, but I think it really makes you stand out even more. If you're able to market yourself and stand out from the rest, I think it's even a better platform now than to try to seek out, distribution deals or going to
oh my God,
labels.
I just can't imagine dealing with a record company.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'd
rather not. I'd rather not do anything.
Right. Exactly. I hear you. Well, listen, I was on your Instagram and I have to bring this up because, I saw some of your footage of your performance. You went to South Korea for a 3-day, competition workshop. You performed and also, was a judge and there was a big, dance. It's called, Street Beat. And, I saw you perform and you choreographed this beautiful performance with these wonderful South Korean street dancers. And I really wanted to get into this with you because I thought it was phenomenal. And anybody listening has to go see that because it just blew me away. I watched it several times and talk about that experience because that must have been just an amazing experience for you. Well,
it was really wonderful. I stay on top of all the street dance international scene. I mean, it's enormous. It's the best kept secret in show business, these battles. There's some great ones in Amsterdam called Summer Dance Forever and Juste Boot in Paris and Hip Hop International, of course, in America. They're huge. Yeah. They're absolutely huge. And so the South Koreans, Mickey was a big hit in South Korea. And the album they took off one of the Devo songs, Be Stiff, because they thought it was lascivious. So that was off of that album. But Mickey was a big hit over there. I've been to South Korea twice. I love Seoul. I just love it. But this time, this event was in honor of me. So it was a 3-day event. It was, I did two workshops. I taught two workshops, one locking and one go-go. And go-go, the 60s style dance.
Right.
And then another conference, which was about the lockers and locking, and Don Campbell, Lock Campbell. And the other conference was about whacking and the original kids that created whacking in Los Angeles. You know, street dance is a complete American art form.
Sure.
They do it all over the world, but every step is American. I mean, all the different countries have their different takes on it.
Sure.
If you're really savvy, you can tell a Japanese locker as opposed to a South Korean locker, as opposed to a French locker. You know, everybody has their different.
It's almost like a dialect. It's almost like a dialect of it, right?
It's exactly like a dialect. So, and then there's always a big competition. We had almost 400 kids.
Oh my God.
Competed. I know, it was a long day.
Wow.
And it was phenomenal. And the top 28 or 24 of each category, and we had a youth category, was just jaw-dropping.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely jaw-dropping. They're always having battles, and they're always dancing, and Asia is a huge street dance community. I mean, Osaka and Tokyo. Oh,
wow.
It's huge for locking. It's really huge.
I have to bring this up because, you know, when I said in the intro that you help revolutionize dance, I mean, locking, just you and Don Campbell and the rest of the lockers were iconic, you know, and you played all the different, you know, TV shows and what weren't you on back then? And so our listeners, you know, we got to keep this legacy alive, you know, because for those listening, you know, Toni Basil had a huge part in what you see today in street dancing. So I had to throw that in.
Well, thank you very much. And certainly it was Don Campbell's Campbell Lock dance that really, it wasn't a social dance anymore, what Don was doing. Don turned it into a performance level, and it attracted, 6 other great, phenomenal dancers, which Shabadoo, who starred in Electric Boogaloo and Breaking, he became a movie star, was in that group. Fred Berry, who became Rerun on What's Happening.
I did not know that until today when I read. I was going to bring that up, but that's phenomenal. I didn't realize that.
Oh my God! And Greg Campbell Lock Jr., he was the first one to start teaching.
Yeah.
All around the world. I mean, wow! That group changed the face of dance, and the people in it were really the greatest, probably, street dancers of that time period.
Yeah.
So we were knockouts, but they really coveted it all over the world. Locking is just so big.
What I understand too, when you were out there, did you notice? I mean, I don't know if they talk about this, but they love Western art, you know, like, and
music, absolutely.
Country music, even. Yeah. It's like, they love that, right?
Yeah. I just judged one of the biggest Lindy Hop competition.
Really?
Because I used to Lindy Hop. Look, I've done everything. From tango to Lindy Hop to, there was a Korean group that came in and competed.
Wow. That's phenomenal. I love that. You know, that.
And they love salsa. Oh my
salsa.
God. Oh my God.
Yeah. And out in those countries, I mean, when I was watching this video today, I have to tell you that, you know, the passion that, you know, not only did they dance, but they had the passion in their face. They had that.
They're performers.
They're performers.
They're performers. It's not social dancing, and it's not. They're beyond battling. I mean, they battle, but they're also performers. They really understand that. It's. I mean, boy, they came on like gangbusters. Yeah, that video is up on also my YouTube channel, Toni Basil's House. So you can probably see it better and clearer and bigger on your computer.
On YouTube,
Yeah. You can see it full screen because it's a big wide shot, and on Instagram, it's really hard to see it on your phone, but you get the idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And what was so fun is that while I was teaching the go-go class, I had the kids also dance to Breakaway. So the little video promo that we do for Breakaway is includes the South Koreans in 2024, dancing to Breakaway, doing the jerk actually, and then it kind of cuts to me doing the jerk in Village of the Giants in 1965.
Right.
So we did a little promo with that, and that's also up on my Instagram, official Toni Basil, and it's up on my YouTube channel. You go look today, Wednesday, and you'll see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so much content on there for everybody. You can just spend hours looking at your stuff, and
there's over 100 videos.
It's amazing. Yeah. And, and the other thing I wanted to ask you, because I know you've been on TV, on different television shows, judging dance competitions, so you think you could dance, I was a huge fan of that show, and I know that Dancing with the Stars is so big right now. And what are your thoughts on these shows? I know that Dancing with the Stars is so super popular, and, you have somebody who's maybe not a dancer with somebody who's a professional dancer, and, but the popularity, I don't think has been better than it is now and bigger. So what are your thoughts on these dance shows? I mean, it's got to be exciting as a choreographer and an icon in the industry to see that these shows like dance is still getting the recognition that it deserves.
Well, what I love the best of these shows is they're not dancers performing behind a singer.
Right.
They are dancers dancing. So much on music videos, you see a singer with dancers behind them.
Yeah.
But both of these shows that you mentioned are dancers that people are interested in to watch them dance. And they don't
stars.
need a singer, but and they're the stars, not the singer. So that's exciting. And God only knows, we're always glad to see dancers earning a living.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I know what that's like growing, my daughter growing up a dancer. It's nice to see, like I said, that they're the stars of the show on that. The other thing I wanted to mention is you had an interview with Lincoln Center,
Library of Performing Arts.
Performing Arts. Yeah. Talk about that, because I think that's exciting as well.
Well, that turned out to be an 11-hour interview.
Oh, now, wow.
It wasn't from start. We did it over, I think over maybe 2 months, like each week we would take a section, because, my life, I mean, I was in show business before I was born, because, my parents were in vaudeville starting from 1927. They became Billy Wells in the Fourth Phase in America from Australia. Yep. But even before that, and that video of them on Ed Sullivan in 1964 is on my YouTube channel, Toni Basil's House. But also on my YouTube channel is a video of my mother's 2 older sisters and adopted brother in a silent film dancing. And dancing great. So
fantastic.
You can go see that.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman being thrown around by Uncle Billy in the silent film is the same woman that is being thrown around on Ed Sullivan. Oh. So there you go.
Wow.
The legacy of my career, I'm definitely preceded by my family. They were, I have clippings of them at the Palace, top of the bill.
Yeah.
Billy Wells in the Fourth Phase, they were top of the bill. Of course, top of the bill was what you wanted to be. And then when stage shows came in, my dad was an orchestra leader at the Chicago Theater from 47 to 57 before we moved to Vegas for him to be the orchestra leader at Sarah Hotel. So I saw over 1,000 shows. Sinatra,
and who didn't he direct for, right?
Yeah, no, Judy Garland, Pearl Bailey. I have a clipping of Josephine Baker at the Chicago Theater, orchestra leader Louis Basil, Nat King Cole. They had different acts at least every second week.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So the amount of acts in what I saw, and it was always an opening act, which was the juggler or the plate spinner, and then the second act was a comic, and the third act was a singer. Singer was always a star of the show.
And looking back, even when I was, I think we talked about this on the last show, but, I remember being a child and going to this place called Diamond Gyms in Minneapolis. It was like a celebrity room. You'd go in there and there was always an act. Either comedian George Gobel used to play there. I mean, it was like,
oh yeah,
it
my
was.
dad played George Gobel. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, those were the days. I just I miss those days. I really do, because now, entertainment.
Well,
what are your
pop concerts? There's pop concerts, or you can see, some people do play clubs, little clubs,
Sure,
or
sure.
there's Vegas. Everything evolves. Everything just changes.
What do you think about the streaming? The hundreds and hundreds of streaming, things that, I mean, for actors, I think it's fantastic because you always have work. But do you feel that entertainment, I love the intimacy of the way entertainment was. I'm looking at my signed picture of Johnny Carson as I'm sitting here talking to you, and I miss watching Johnny Carson and having, if you were on Johnny Carson, that was it. I mean, you were going to blow up after that. So what are your thoughts about everything on TV right now is so much entertainment? It's almost too much to consume.
Well, there's a lot of channels. I mean, back in the day, there was ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Yeah.
And now there's that plus hundreds of channels.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even, if it's not on HBO or Showtime, I can't get to because I don't know how to work the remote to get to those shows. Yeah. Everything. So, you just
things go on.
You can't stop any of it.
That's true. It's like a freight train. It won't stop.
I mean, we got the freight train of AI, and God only knows what. All of a sudden, 2001, and what was the name of the robot that got him? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Wow, but the robot took over.
Yeah, and that's what it's doing now. It's taking over. So how did your I gotta mention this, but how did your cocktail do the wham rebop?
I have a wham rebop. Well, that was out of nowhere too. I mean, somebody told me that there was a cocktail in I don't know whether it was Jersey or somewhere. My friend David Driscoll, and then he said, well, they want to do a cocktail out here. So I said, okay, look, you go from one thing to another. Wait, what do you mean a cocktail? Well, wait, what do you mean I own Breakaway? Wait a minute. What do you mean? I only, I had 4 hours to put together that routine you're seeing, but man, I just couldn't resist.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing.
I just couldn't resist doing something. And I just knew how fabulous and fast and brilliant they all were. And it did work out, and it was a lot of fun. And we're by 2025, probably March, I think the Lincoln Center 11-hour transcription will be up. And also you'll be able to hear the audio interview, but we're going to do something they've never done before, which is we're going to connect it to my website, tonibasil.net, and have you can go to that. And when you listen to the interview or read the interview, you'll be able to go to the 60s page and hit links in order of everything I'm talking about. So, I mean, how can you talk about dance and people not see it?
Right. You got to see it. Yeah.
You got to see it. So God only knows I had enough videos to cover everything, even before I was born. My mother.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited about that because it's a real honor to be part of that. And it's even more of an honor that, we're going to make it technically even more advanced. And because before, I remember Bette Midler and I would go to the Lincoln Center and look at what they had. You had to go there to see everything, sign up, and you could, look into this and look into that, or you could read the transcripts. But now, hey, why not? And there you go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, we're excited definitely for that. And Breakaway, everybody check that out on all streaming
I'm
platforms. And
so glad that you like that song.
oh, are you kidding? It was phenomenal. I love that song.
It's kind
I'm
of,
like, where was I for all these years? I love that song. Oh my
I
God.
think
Yeah.
that it feels to me like Detroit slash go go slash, and
100%.
I'm almost singing not country western, but I've got a twang in my voice. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did it so fast, and
Yeah.
I held that note so long out of inspiration. That was just that tape.
Well, everybody's got to check that out again.
Oh, well,
Go
thank you.
on
I'm so
YouTube.
excited.
Tony, I love always having you on the show. But before we go, I have to have you give some advice to our young artists out there. I do this on every show, and so anybody that's out there, we're going to stick with dance this time because that's been our theme with the South Korean folks out there. So talk about a new dancer that's just getting into the business, and I know things have evolved, but from your perspective, nowadays, what kind of advice would you have for somebody just trying to break into the dance business?
Well, practice. I mean, and study. Don't just study YouTube and try to imitate it. Yes, YouTube is a tool that you can see everything that's going on. You can go back in time and see what was happening in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. I mean, oh my God, I didn't have that back in the day. Back in the day, you had to go to Lincoln Center to see anything like that, or order videos from UCLA's film library. I mean, this is unbelievable, but you must study. You must study. I mean, I remember my summer course in Chicago. I took 3 classes a day.
Wow.
And now you need to know more than one style. I mean, even if you're a ballet dancer, you need to know a little street, because you don't know if Twyla Tharp's going to come up with something, or, the new choreographers in the ballet companies, they start to use all sorts of street, and you need full knowledge, and everything that you can take, you need to take. I don't think you could take street dance until the 90s, when actually, or maybe early 80s, they would advertise, the schools would advertise one class in a Madonna video. You could learn the choreography. And the mothers would take the kids to learn that choreography. The schools weren't so happy to learn street. I know I had Popping Taco was in a jazz class. And the guy that was teaching the class, Taco, was kind of popping in the back. And he said, there'll be none of that in our school. He was really threatened by it. Now, don't you know that his school 10 years later featured all street, and featured popping.
Wow.
But people were very, very threatened by it. The teachers were, because they didn't know the style.
Right.
But, like Broadway dance and steps and Millennium out here, and all the schools now offer so much. So I think it's to study, and I think it's to study all the styles. Because when you go to, an audition, yes, you need to study hip hop choreo or ballet or whatever. But then invariably, especially if it's a tour, the choreographer might say, well, does anybody have a specialty? And if you've got a specialty, because God only knows there's a million people, 10 others that are as good, or 50 others that are as good a dancer and picked up the choreography as quickly as you. Yeah. But if you got something else to offer, that's when you get the job.
That's when you stand out from the rest.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
that's amazing advice, and from an iconic entertainment legend. So everybody listening, take this advice to heart, and best of luck to all of you out there in your next audition. But Toni, again, can't thank you enough for being on the show for a third time. Always love having you on.
Well, there's hopefully there's a fourth time when something else surfaces, like out of nowhere. When did I? Was I on your show when I did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Was that before or after?
Yeah, no, that was our second show. We talked about that with Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, absolutely.
Out of nowhere, Quentin Tarantino wants a meeting with you. You go, what?
You're not going to deny that one, that's for sure.
What? He said, well, what can I do for you, Quentin? And he says, well, I want you to choreograph my movie. Okay. You just don't know.
You never know.
Prepared.
Keep an open mind for sure.
Oh my word.
Well, you deserve everything, all the accolades you've ever gotten. I mean, just like I said, it's just an honor always to have you on. And, and also just, Toni Basil's house on YouTube. Don't hesitate to go on there and check that out. Official Toni Basil on Instagram. And then,
we have Toni Basil Facebook. We have official Toni Basil Facebook, and we have a Lockers Facebook also.
That's resurfaced, correct? I mean, not too long ago.
Oh,
Lockers.
No. What's resurfaced is is the lockersdance.com.
Yes.
Because it crashed because we were so old.
Yeah.
We put it up with a program that no longer exists, that the computers could not hold on to. So we put it up again. It's the same as it ever was, except on our history page, because I'm a hoarder and I have all our contracts, all our, promos and all the newspaper articles about us. I have all the dates.
Yeah.
So on every important, event that we mention on our history page, I have the date. I have the date, the year, and the moment that it happened. Because I feel as though it's so important to have your history backed up in paper, because so many people say, oh, I was there or I was here. Well, I don't think you could be there if you were 7 years old and we were all 21.
Exactly.
Let's see the paperwork. Let's see.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Well, I mean, for historical purposes, I mean, I'm glad you do that, because I mean, that's how people's legacies, maintain themselves, is through documentation.
Yes. I know. And you see so many people making up stuff.
Right.
And just making up stuff. I just don't understand it. I think on all news programs and all interviews with political parties and political people, they need to just have an automatic,
fact check.
Because anybody can say anything.
That's right. Absolutely. No, I completely agree. So I'm glad you do that. And what I didn't mention is tonibasil.net is your website. And so everybody, check these out.
That's where the all the links to the videos that I'm talking about for the Lincoln Center Library of Performing Arts will be.
That's great. Well, Toni, again, thank you, and can't wait to have you back, of course. And best of luck on all these beautiful projects that you're working on. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, and again, always glad having you on. So thank you.
All right. Okay. Wow. It's always a pleasure.